What's up, folks? Hope you all had a wonderful week. The pollen is out today. It is rough. We're back down at the sawmill today. I had a customer just drop off a log earlier. He wants to make a fireplace mantle out of it. Well, what he's wanting to cut out of this is an 8x12 fireplace mantle. And this log is only 7.5 foot long, so it's gonna barely get on the mill. It's only gonna hit one of my clamps. I've got the center clamp though. I don't have a handle on it yet, but we'll be able to clamp it in there and get it cut. But we shouldn't have a problem. We should be able to get it on there, finagle it a little bit, and get it locked down. I think it's gonna make a really nice fireplace mantle. And before we get that log on the mill and start cutting it, it is a pretty green log. We're gonna get our Anchorseal here and we're gonna seal those ends. So after it's cut and it's doing the drying process, it doesn't start checking on the ends. We're just gonna borrow this bolt here out this rear backstop. We'll install it here in this center one. Lock that down. I did make a third new backstop rod, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick that in there. Take this old thing out. This one has been on the bottom, but it's been a pretty good one. But we want that solid thing in there, and I did make this receiver right here, so it's a pretty good solid one itself. So now I got 3 solid steel backstops on here. These things aren't gonna bend at all. So let's do a little measurement on this log. We've got, I can't even read that thing anymore, 18 inches on the small end. So 18 inches on both ends. This thing's pretty straight. It's short. So what we want to do first is cut our big portion. So our 12-inch, we're going to get our 12-inch sides first, and then we'll get the 8-inch sides out of it. Let's go ahead and get this thing on a mill. All right, we got that on there. It's a little wonky, but it's got a little bit of bow to it here on the end, but it's still tall enough to get our 12 inches out of it. So I may go ahead and roll it on over a little bit just to get it on one of the flatter sides. Yeah, let's do that. Now my biggest problem with having these little short logs like this on here, especially these heavy ones, or my backstops are like right here and here. My third backstop's up here, but my winch is way back here on the end. So I can't really grab it to flip the log over or roll it because it's gonna grab it right here on the side. I can bring the string kind of down the middle here, but what it'll do is actually try to pull the log back, which is not a big deal because I have a few foot in front of that one, but maybe that'll work. Yeah, this is the end it was sitting on right here, so it's a little bit funky. It'll be all right though. All right, we gotta get a blade on this thing. I'm gonna grab the old Cook's blade I pulled off the other day before I put that carbide on there. It was nice and sharp, because we're gonna need a sharp blade here on this red oak. And with this log, we will be using our Cook's 8-degree blades, our 8-degree super sharps. These things work phenomenal in red oaks. All right, we got our blade on tight. We got our log locked down. We're ready to cut this thing. That's a nice, pretty red oak. Too bad it's only 7.5 foot long. Now we are out of cutting juice, so we're just gonna cut this thing dry. And these old green red oaks cut so nice and easy. All right, I definitely have my 8 inches on there. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and take another inch off just so I can get this side down to the heart a little bit. There's a little bit of sapwood showing there. Hopefully that'll take us on down and get us 8 inches of redwood. And right now my cut's sitting at 16 inches, so I should have enough. I should have plenty on the other side to cut down after we cut this extra inch off. But you always want to cut your long ends first. Nice clean cut there, but I did notice one thing. My blade guide roller is not spinning on this side. On top of that, I think I just lost my bolt again. Yeah, for my adjustment. Yeah, the adjuster handle, the bolt was always falling out. I did Loctite it and it fell out again. So I guess I gotta do something about that. I might have to drill that out, make it bigger and put a bigger bolt in it. This roller guide here is pretty bad. What do you guys think? Does it need to be replaced? I'd say most definitely. It wasn't rolling. I guess I'm gonna go up and find a drill bit, a tap, and some bolts for that thing, and we'll continue cutting it with the roller guide like it is. Not the adjuster though. I gotta get that fixed because that roller guide just flops all over the place if that's not in there. Got my new bolts in there now. Maybe that'll hold for a while. Put a little bit of blue Loctite on it, which I did Loctite it before. I think it's just the holes just kind of wallowed out. Maybe the threads are bad. Let's say I need to tap that hole out, drill it out, tap it, make it a little bigger, and put a bigger bolt in there. But we're gonna cut this log up first and get this thing done first, and then we'll do that later. But I keep a little cut open milk jug full of extra bolts and things for Norwood. And I got some other things too from the greenhouse, but my spare bolts, I keep that in the truck at all times. A little bit of chainsaw hose, different things. You never know when you'll need a bolt. Well, that was short-lived. I snugged that thing up too. It fell right on out. I guess those threads are toast. Well, I got two options here. I can drill that hole out and make a bigger hole and rethread it for a bigger bolt, or I can move over just a hair, drill another hole that size and tap it and put a bolt in there. Well, I guess I gotta go up and find a bolt and a tap that'll work. Always something. Gotta say, times like this, I'm really thankful for my upbringing, how I was brought up as a kid, because you know, we weren't as privileged as some folks growing up. So a lot of things we did, we had to fix or make happen ourselves. We learned how to work on stuff. We learned how to make stuff work. We learned how to make stuff work with what we had. It wasn't because we were poor. It was probably more to do with my parents growing up in the Great Depression era. That's what they had to do as kids. So that's how they taught us to live. And it was my dad's mission to teach us to work on stuff and be self-sufficient and know how to fix problems when they arise, without asking for help or paying somebody to do it. And I do believe that's a great benefit of the way we grew up. And also one of the biggest things I tell my kids, if man created it, man can fix it. Well, I couldn't find the tap I needed, but we've got a few choices here. What will we use? I thought maybe I could rivet it in, or use this rivet. Rivet it in and keep it from falling out. I was trying to find different size taps. I really need an M6 tap. I think the bolt to come out of it was an M5. But I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take a bolt, probably this one. I'm gonna drill all the way through that thing and put a nut on it and not worry about it again. So this piece here is aluminum, and the threads in aluminum are not very good. So this thing creates a lot of vibration while it's sawing, and those things just kind of wallow their way out. If I take this bolt, drill all the way through, or run this bolt all the way through and put a lock nut on it, I don't have to worry about drilling that thing out or messing up the threads again. It should just stay. So yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna drill all the way through that thing. And if it messes up later, I'll just order a new blade guide. Now that is the perfect fix. Now it can't rattle out and it can't pull the threads out anymore. And what I used here for a lock nut is not actually a lock nut. It's a standard thread on a metric bolt, but it works just like a lock nut. I may have some unconventional ways of doing things, but I do what I can with what I have, which is always better than not trying at all. Now let's saw this log up. I don't know if that color's coming through, but this thing is pink. That's pretty cool. Like I said, I don't know if that color is coming through on the camera or not, but instead of a red oak, this is a pink oak. That's what we're gonna call it, the pink oak. Pretty cool. Drop in the comments, tell me what you will make with this nice red oak. And wow, this oak is quite literally pink. I know this camera is not doing it justice and it's not picking up that color because I can see it in the screen. This is probably the pinkest red oak I've ever cut. It's really frustrating because some of these logs have some of the most amazing colors in them. I really need to get a good camera, one that picks up colors and so you can see the color contrast in some of this wood because it's just amazing. This has got to be quite literally the pinkest red oak I've ever cut. All right, so I got that flipped over. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it down to 8 inches so I have my 8x12 mantle here. I got another piece down here I want to throw back on and get some boards out of. But the reason I'm gonna do that is because the sawmill is almost out of gas. Yeah, I'm totally about out of gas around here. I'm gonna have to go to town, but I wanna go ahead and get that thing cut up so he can come pick it up. Then I'll get gas later. So I'm gonna go ahead and get one more cut off this thing. You know what, I might do 2 more cuts. I might cut it to 9 and then get another inch board out of it. That big heavy slab, yeah, we'll get that on the mill and cut some more boards out of that. But right now it's down to 9 inches and I just ran out of gas. And I knew that was gonna happen. I just knew it was. I knew if I was gonna cut it down to 9 inches just to get an extra board, I was gonna run out of gas that last cut. And sure enough, I think I have one more thing up my sleeve though. Not gonna hold me down. All right, that'll do it. We got some gas. Let's make this last cut. So this is our fireplace mantle. It is super nice and I hope they're gonna secure this well because this thing is heavy. And we got some nice boards out of this as well. After just a few minutes in the sun, this is what it turns to. And this log was super green as well. That's why I sealed the ends of it because I know he's gonna have to let this thing dry out. And so we anchor seal these ends. So hopefully they don't check on him while as it's drying. But yeah, that's our mantle. And he's gonna come pick this up here shortly and hand me my cash. Now, one thing to note about cutting oaks and hardwoods in general, a lot of these woods will stain really, really bad when they get metal on them. That's why you see the big stains in them when you get nails. But just sitting here touching these bunks, the metal parts that don't have paint on them, it will mark this wood up, as you can see right here. Actually, that's from the bunks of the sawmill. Now the reason that's on there is because there's spots on this bunk right here that don't have any paint on it, so that raw metal touches it and it's a chemical reaction that creates black lines. Now when I get this off of the sawmill, I'm gonna have to put something on top of these forks to keep those from staining. The forks will leave some serious stains in this wood. And you see here we took some really heavy cuts off, so we're gonna throw that back on a sawmill later and get a few boards out of it. I'm keeping these boards right here. The customer's not getting those. All he wanted was that, and that's all I'm charging him for. I'll keep the extra. And this other stuff will go to firewood. So yeah, that was our log for today, and that's how you cut a solid red oak fireplace mantle. And that thing came out really nice. It was really green. It was really clean. Now what I'm gonna be doing next is we're gonna have our mystery log Monday. What do I have a good one for you? I don't know what this is. This is definitely a mystery log. This thing's been sitting here for years, maybe 5, 6 years. It sounds hard and solid, but we're gonna cut it up and find out what is inside this thing. That'll be our mystery log Monday. So make sure you hit that bell so you get notifications when a new video comes out. And we're gonna be doing our mystery log Mondays from now on, and we got a lot of cool logs to saw, and we have no clue what they are. And make sure you guys get out there and learn something new every day. If you're not learning something new every day, you're not living right. Just my opinion. But that's gonna do it for today. I gotta go get some gas here in a little while. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Check out our Facebook, Patrons, Instagram, and TikTok. We'll see you on the next one.